Welcome to the 19th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome back to our returning viewers, and for those of you who are watching us for the first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. Today's adventure takes us all the way to Glasgow, Scotland, and we're really excited about sharing our stories with you. But before we begin, Colleen will talk about what we are wearing.
First of all, I'm going to talk about what May's wearing, and it is actually an apron. But it looks like a kilt with the swan in the front, and it's quite cute. And when we saw that when we were in Scotland, we knew we had to get that for May.
Now I just have to learn how to cook some Scottish meals, like steak pie, and what is another Scottish meal we had? Fish and chips.
Oh, yes. All that good stuff.
Shepherd's pies.
Yes. Good things.
Pie, yes.
Okay, good luck with that.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. And what I'm wearing is a necklace, which May's mum bought for me, and it's called a heather gem necklace. And so what they do is they cut heather, and they dye it, and they press it, and then they cut it out in certain shapes, and then they put it into some silver jewelry. And I really, really like it. It's pretty, and it's kind of nice to have that little piece of Scotland.
It is, and we have some British stores here that sell that jewelry here in Canada.
London. Yeah, absolutely. So those are the things that we're wearing, and next we're going to talk about our finished objects. My first finished object is a pair of socks, and it is the Sweet Bee socks, which is a pattern by Jooles Hill of the So Sweet Violet podcast. Now this pattern is designed to be used with two colors of yarn, and it also does some lace work, so really it should be two basically plain colors. And I wanted to see this pattern because it is a toe-up sock. It's got a different kind of toe. She calls it her beanie toe. It has a different kind of heel, which is almost like a gusset heel, and she calls it the godet heel. And I wanted to see if I could do this. The pattern is written beautifully, so I absolutely like it. I used this color, which is obviously a purple color because I like purple, and that is the Diamond Luxury Sock. Tradition sock, 42% wool, 51% acrylic, 7% nylon. Loved working with that. And then the other color that I used is a Mirasol Khusku, and it is 40% wool, 40% bamboo, 20% nylon, and I loved working with it. I knew when I did that there was going to be a break, and I was okay with that. So I loved the micro stripes. There's a little bit of break. I knew it was going to happen, wasn't worried about it, and then the micro stripe again. So I am thrilled with these socks. They're comfy, the yarn feels so good, and I have some more of this kind of yarn in a different colorway, and I think there may be some socks in your future.
I think they turned out absolutely amazing. I love this top part. This ribbing kind of thing would hold them up.
It is, and I made it a little bit longer. I'm glad you noticed it, because as a non-knitter, you don't always notice things like that. So it's a twisted rib, so it adds a little dimension to it, and it does hold it up nice and snug, but the bind off is a loose bind off, and in this pattern, there is a link to a good tutorial on it. So I was absolutely thrilled.
It turned out wonderful, and I like that they're a little bit different here. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Gives them a little bit of character.
Good.
Great job.
Thank you. So that's my first finished object. Now the next finished object is a wee hat. And once again, I keep saying we, and that's because we were in Scotland. So last episode, I showed you my wee sweater.
Oh, that's so cute.
Which is a little, like a little kimono sweater. It's a Stylecraft pattern. So I had already shown you that, and I wanted to make a hat to go with it. So I chose to use Heather Tucker's basic baby hat. And the trick was to figure out what size to do. This yarn is a little thinner. It's Cherub DK by Cascade Yarns. It's lovely. It's nylon and acrylic. And I was trying to figure out, okay, if the baby is this size of sweater, what kind of hat? And I think I did a pretty good job.
It looks like it's going to be a match.
It is, and I'm really thrilled with it. What I like about this hat pattern is the top of it. So there's a series of different decreases. I'm going to hold that up and hopefully you can see that. So it's got a little bit of extra dimension to it, and I think it just adds a little something.
And I know exactly who this is going to be for, because there's a fellow at work and his wife's expecting shortly, and so this would be perfect. So thank you for doing that. I
No problem.
A good home.
Yep, we'll tuck that away. Now my last finished object, first of all, I have to send a shout out to my niece Meredith because she was the one that was working on this shawl and I really like the pattern. It was a free pattern. She sent it to me, the link, so I knew what it was. It is called the Stormy Sky Shawl by Ksenia Naidyon, hoping I'm saying that quite right. And I used the yarn that May and I dyed. So it's Alpaca Merino Fine. There's the ball band. And it is merino wool, nylon, and alpaca, just as it says. And I blocked this, and I am thrilled how it comes out. So I'm going to need your help, May.
Okay.
So there's the one
Wow,
side.
I still can't believe you dyed this yarn.
I know, it's
beautiful.
amazing. And the lace work and the drop stitches open out so nicely.
It's gorgeous.
I am thrilled. I'm really, really thrilled. And I haven't told Meredith yet that I was knitting one.
Oh, okay.
So
she's going to be happy that you did that and
Exactly.
took some of her advice. Good job,
Exactly.
Meredith.
So I'm going to post this on
nice.
Instagram. And now I need some help. So one of the ways you can finish it off is to put tassels on either end so that when it comes around your neck, you can have a tassel on each side. So I went online and I went to YouTube and I figured out how to make the tassels. So those are done and I'm happy with them. But now I'm afraid because I have to attach it to the shawl and I don't want to make a mistake. I want it to be firm enough. So I've left a little bit from there to help tie on. So this is going to sit like this and I'm just wanting to know what the best way is to secure it. So if you would comment below and give me some advice, either tell me a YouTube video to link to of how to do that. I really want to add the tassels. It's new. I think it would be fun to do. I think it adds a little dimension to it and I want to do that. But I just want to make sure that when I do it correctly because I don't have a whole lot of yarn left and this is kind of the tassels, the only tassels I can make.
And Colleen didn't want to take my advice. I had suggested Gorilla Glue, but she wasn't going for that, so
No.
she could use your help.
Exactly. So no Gorilla Glue, but anyway, those are my finished objects. May, what's your finished object?
Well, you know, the other day I had my scroll saw out and I was making those little sheep keychains that I made.
Oh, I like it.
And so while I was doing that, I thought I'd experiment with a little, what would you call this? A little pin? You can pin on
absolutely.
you. A little pin at the back. And I thought I'd make a little sheep just for the show here.
It's so cute.
And it turned out kind of cute.
Yeah, it's
if
really,
you have
really
any
nice.
suggestions for other pins that I can make with my scroll saw, I'd really appreciate that too. So there's my little sheep pin. Maybe I could wear that next time.
That would be great.
Okay, and my paintings, I haven't really been having the time to paint, so I may be repeating some of the paintings that I've done. I'm hoping to maybe do a thistle for our next show.
Oh,
It's
that
the
would be
Scottish
beautiful.
theme, so
And purple.
yeah, and purple. Thistles.
Exactly.
Okay.
That'll be great.
And those are my finished objects.
So those are our finished objects. And next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is actually a hoe. And that's okay.
We laugh every time we say that.
I know, but that's okay because in the knitting world, that's what it's called. So it is one of the Joe's Perfect slipper socks. And it's by Cozy Up Knits. Love their podcast. And I had some extra acrylic yarn and I wanted to try it out because my feet are a little funny to fit and I wanted to see how it would work. It knits up quickly. So I just used worsted. I know they called for 2 strands of fingering, but the worsted worked up nicely.
It'll keep you nice and warm.
That's the idea. So I am thrilled with it. It fits nicely. It fits nice and snug, which is what you want when weather's getting winter. We don't have snow like they had out in Grand Prairie. Oh my goodness,
Did they?
Alberta had snow.
Already.
Already. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that. But we have this sock and I'm thrilled with it, and so I can hardly wait to get the second one
Great.
done.
Good job.
Yeah, I love the pattern, so good work on that. My next work in progress is something by Martina Behm. It's called Fractal Danger. And so it is a very interesting shape design, and you and I had dyed this yarn. We decided to call the colorway Pretty Parakeet because we thought it reminded us of parakeets that we had used to have as kids.
Now,
So-
I never would have thought this would have turned out that color when we dyed it.
I
but
know.
You never
Oh, dear.
know when you're dyeing how how it's going to turn out, really. Oh, another drop stitch.
Drop stitch. You're calmer
Yes,
this time.
calm.
Okay, so let's talk about how this works. So what happens is, we'll start over where May is. There it is. So it starts up to this point, and then you start doing some different rows and different increases and decreases. So it keeps changing shape. So let's follow it, see if we can get it all the way across.
Right.
So there it is. And then move it across, change shape. So I am just about finishing off. I'm not sure if I'm going to use up all the yarn. I think I will try and use up as much as I can because it definitely is a distinctive color. But I really like it. I couldn't believe with the way that we dyed it that this is what we came up with.
And the pattern is perfect for this kind of color, I think.
I know.
think because it's kind of unique. The color's
exactly.
unique.
That's right.
Unique.
And you kept saying to me, it looks like a leaf. And I thought, you're absolutely right. It looks like a leaf. So I'm thrilled with it. I'm having fun. It looks really complicated, but the pattern is really well written. So I would recommend that. So that's Fractal Danger by Martina and Behm.
I can't wait to see it on.
I know.
It's going to be interesting with the way it's diagonal and all kinds of different ways.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So that's my second work in progress. And my last one, I just started, but I couldn't stop because it is a pattern by Sharyn Anhalt, Ginger Snap, and it's called the Mad Mini Wrap. And what this uses is one of the Mad Hatter sets. This is called Mice in the Tea. So this is Wonderland yarns. We got this when we were in Holland, Michigan. And it is, let me make sure I get what it is. It's 100% superwash merino and it's sport weight. It knits up very quickly.
Now, are you using the colors that are in the pattern here?
You know what, I am. I like to be creative, and yet I loved this pattern and I loved the yarn. So I'm doing it exactly the way that it is. I'm even putting that green along the border. You and I had debated gray or green, and I just liked that so much that I wanted to have color all the way through. So I will show you the colors. So I'm finished working on this burgundy magenta-y kind of color. I've just started in with the purple. Then it's going to be teal. Then it's going to be gray. And then it is this lovely green that's going to go all the way along the bottom. And this pattern is such a neat construction, because what happens is you do this gentle increase, and then all of a sudden it's like going up a hill. So they're doing that, and so now I'm up and I'm starting to decrease at this end. So it's similar to the Martina Behm pattern. It's taking that direction. So I'm really liking it. It's soft yarn, it's squishy yarn. So I would recommend Wonderland yarns as well.
Nice.
So those are my works in progress. And next we're going to talk about our adventure.
As you know, our adventure took us all the way to Glasgow, Scotland, and Glasgow has a population of about 621,000 people. It was back in the day very an industrial city, and now it has lots of cathedrals and churches, and their old architect was just phenomenal. Yeah. They have 5 universities within 10 miles of each other.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so they have quite the culture there. Also, they have theaters and ballet and orchestra. So many of the city's cultures were celebrated in 1990, and that is when Glasgow was designated the European City of Culture.
Oh, excellent.
Yes. And so I can see that when we were there, because it was so, I mean, we just kept taking photographs and looking at this, and something was better than the next thing.
That's right.
Also, back in the day, it was known for it built ships. I don't know if it still does that, but I know back in the day. And also some of the famous vessels were built in Glasgow. Lots of the films were made about Glasgow, and lots of films were made in Glasgow. Like Laurel and Hardy, where their first debut was in Glasgow.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that. And also Mrs. Brown's Boys is one of the shows that my mom likes, and that is also filmed in Glasgow.
Yes, that's very funny.
Glasgow is also known for a couple of the teams, Celtic and Rangers teams. You can't mention Glasgow without mentioning either one of those teams. Now, I don't know why Jimmy Johnson, I think he used to play for Celtic. His name comes to mind when I think about that. Now, some of the famous people, like my mom will be very upset that I don't name all thousands of them. So I'm only going to name a couple, but there's many famous people that come from Glasgow. Gordon Ramsay, who you probably know, the chef on the TV show, he was born in Glasgow, but he was raised in England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Billy Connolly, the comedian, people may know, and the group AC/DC were from Glasgow.
Oh, wow.
And very also good. Our Canadian Prime Minister, our first Prime Minister of Canada, was born in Glasgow. And he was Prime Minister. Now, I don't want to quote any dates, but I'm pretty sure it was in the 1800s, late 1800s. He was our first Prime Minister. My mom was born in Glasgow, although she's not famous. She is to us.
Absolutely.
Colleen and I were there. We were able to take the, we call it the tube. Did the Glaswegians call it the tube? It is an subway that's underground, and it's one of the third oldest in the world.
Right.
And they do call it the Clockwork Orange.
Oh, really?
And it's because of the color of it.
Exactly.
But we called it the tube, and it's very fast. We got to the west end of Glasgow where they have the botanic gardens, which were beautiful, and I'll put up some photos of that. We just went all over the place, and what a wonderful city it was, just full of culture and full of history. And our hotel was right outside the George's Square. Exactly. It was called the Z Hotel. Of course, the toilet touched the shower touched the bed, the bed touched the dresser. Yeah. Very small room, but very clean. They couldn't do enough for you. We had...
they had like appetizers, wine and crackers and cheese.
And wine for us. They couldn't do enough. And also you were able to have a drink. We had, what else did we do there?
We met up with Margaret.
Right.
Who is the sister of a friend of your mom's.
We had a pub lunch.
We did.
Kitty corner in that George Square. And she had recommended this place. And I'm glad she did. You had lentil soup. You had fish and chips. Or did you have the steak pie?
I had steak pie. It was so good.
Everything was so good. And,
yeah, absolutely.
So we were only there for a short period of time. We did visit a couple of the stores, which Colleen will talk about, and that was an adventure in themselves. The people in the stores couldn't do enough or say enough.
They were great.
And were really nice to talk to us. So
absolutely.
Yeah, great adventure in Glasgow. We can't wait to go back. And tell us a little bit about that store that we went to. We walked quite a ways. Because the weather was so wonderful, did not rain a drop. We were able to walk to so many places, and we did walk to the one store that was called
the Bargain Wool Shop. So we had gone actually to a tourist center and to find out, do we need to take a bus? Do we need to do whatever? And they said, no, it's a good day. You can walk. So we had the opportunity to walk all the way down Buchanan Street, which is beautiful.
Busy.
It's busy and beautiful.
Lots of shops. Now, is that where the arcade is?
That's where the arcade is.
It's called Arcade, but what it is, it's just a little circle of jewelry stores.
You had talked about these for years, and I thought, okay, they're a jewelry store, but I can understand why you thought that was amazing.
One jewelry store was as nice as the next.
Exactly.
And you ended up buying some earrings, and I don't know if you bought anything else in there.
Nope, I got some beautiful pair of earrings, which you'll see in our souvenirs. So we went down Buchanan Street. We did manage to go in and pick up a little jewelry, and then we kept going, and then we had to turn down another road, and the yarn shop itself is on Gallowgate, is the name of the road. It was a little bit of a walk, but as I said, weather was good. We had backpacks with us. We were okay, and so we got in, and that was where we met Irene.
Irene, very nice lady. Worked in that store for 30 years.
And it was crammed full of yarn.
Yeah.
But all kinds of good stuff. And so I looked and looked and looked, and you'll see in Souvenirs, if you were going to make stuff for babies, there was lots of baby yarn. I managed to find some sock yarn, which we'll see shortly. And she was lovely, and she, gave us some hints about the kinds of yarn that they had. And it was a really nice shop, and she was so friendly. And I've since looked at their website and their Facebook page and read reviews, and everybody says how kind and lovely
they are.
And helpful they are. Yeah. And I would agree with them on that. So that was a great store. So that was the first yarn store we went to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did some more walking.
And then Margaret actually was able to show us where we were to get the tube. And when we went to the West End, that was where the second yarn store that we went to was. And it is called the Yarn Cake. And it's a cute little shop. And just as it says, it's got yarn and it's got cake. And I was a little sad that you and I had eaten our lunch before we went, because they had some amazing desserts there. And I would have loved to have some of the desserts, but I didn't even have room after my steak pie.
Again, very friendly. Very nice.
Yeah, the lady was
say enough,
lovely.
couldn't help us enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, our whole experience in Glasgow was very positive. People were wonderful, helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely go back there, and definitely if you can get to one of those stores, that would be great.
Absolutely. So that's our adventure. And next we're going to talk about our souvenirs. Our first set of souvenirs comes from that walk down Buchanan and heading off to the bargain wool shop. First of all, we went to the, like a tourist center, but they sold things. And I was looking for gifts for some people back at home and something that would be useful and something that would remind them. So I managed to pick up something for myself as well. And what is in this little bag is a little shopping bag. It's waterproof. Once again.
And we didn't need waterproof in Scotland. As we said, the weather was absolutely amazing, but this will come in handy being waterproof, and I can see in Scotland why they would want to have a waterproof bag. That's great.
Exactly. And so this is Scottish thistles.
Oh, I'll just try and look at it.
Oh, you did it.
There you go.
Okay, so the bag itself is Scottish thistles. We might as well roll it up.
Yeah.
See what it looks like. Oh, snap.
Wow, snap, crackle, pop.
That's great. So it's a great
It's a bag.
size.
It's a bag within a bag.
That's exactly what it is. So I think it's beautiful, and I think it's going to come in handy. So that was what we got at the tour shop, where we had to get our information about how to get to the yarn shop.
Because you can never have too many bags.
Yes,
That'll be handy here when you get groceries.
I think you are correct.
All right, great. I'll
They
put
never-
that back in. How are you going to get this back in this bag?
It never goes the way.
Well, I think you could, because you take something out of a box.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
I happened to get it back in the little bag.
Not the tiniest thing I've ever seen, but it works.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Whew. Okay.
Okay.
Now, then we found the jewelry stores. And so the one that we actually purchased something in is called McGowan's and Jewelers with Michael James. There's just a little bag that my earrings came from. And there they are.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful. So it's white gold and it's a pink stone. And I thought it was purple, which is funny. But then I actually fell in love with them. It's kind of a purpley pink.
It's a light purple.
I think so. They did say it definitely was pink, but I think
Yeah.
it's a purpley pink, and I loved it.
Nice.
So I'm really, really thrilled with those, and now I can start to wear them, so that's good. At the yarn store, I found this sock yarn. So it is 75% superwash wool and 25% polyamide. It is lovely. I've got one for myself and one for May, and so we're going to have matching socks. Not sure of the pattern yet. We'll
What
have
is
a chat
it? You
with
wear
them.
one, I wear one?
No.
A matching pair of socks.
matching pair of socks.
All right.
There we go.
There
So-
you go. I thought this is one sock, that's one
Nope.
sock.
Each one is 100 grams, so we're good to go. That's 2 pairs of socks we can have. Then, after we had met Margaret for lunch, we headed to the West End, and that's where we went to the Yarn Cake. Now, this is their business card, which I think is quite something. It says, "Keep knitting and eat cake."
How can you go wrong?
Exactly. So this is the yarn. It's from Mothy and the Squid. It's called Heather and Tweed. So I'm gonna let you hold that up. So the lady who dyes that is Jillian Gabrielson, and she gets pictures of moths and squids and nature, and then she dyes the yarn with that picture. And if you go on to her website, once again, it's Mothy and the Squid, and you will see all kinds of beautiful yarn. I was thrilled with that. Absolutely.
Very nice. I can see what that would look like a moth.
Exactly. That's right. Well, when you know because it's called Heather and Tweed, it's supposed to look like Scottish heather.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it does look like heather too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the one little bit of fun I had, which was found a button there, and it's from the Skein of the Crime. So I love that. So that's going to go on a project bag.
And we like watching Dateline, so that kind of works too.
It works really, really well. On our way back from the yarn store, we found
remember,
another
yes.
jewelry store. And I said, May, I keep getting yarn. We need to get something for you. So let's go in and find something for you. And we did. So the store is S&S Sargento, and I'll let you hold that up. So that's the box. And then you open the flap.
Oh, nice.
And this is a color that May loves to wear. So it's a beautiful necklace. I think you will really, really enjoy that.
I think so too. That's going to be very nice on.
And so while I was looking for May found something for me. And once again, same store. I'll let you hold that up.
Nice.
So I found the necklace first, And then May said, oh, there's earrings to match, Colleen. We're going to get you those as well, which was very thoughtful, and I appreciate it very much. And so I really like them. I do wear a lot of black, and so that will be nice to wear.
It'll be great on you. Very nice set.
Thank you so much.
Very nice set.
So nice souvenirs from Glasgow. We had a great time there. Thank you to Margaret for coming out to have lunch with us. That was really great. Thank you to the people who guided us where we needed to go, and to the yarn store owners who helped us out a lot. We really, really appreciate it and really enjoyed our adventure to Glasgow. Next episode, we're going to talk about
Edinburgh.
So
did we say that right? My cousin says that. Did I say that right? Edinburgh?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Some people who don't know how to say it say Edinburgh.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So you're doing a good job.
All right. So that's our next adventure.
And so stay tuned and keep watching. Subscribe. Let us know what you'd like in the comments below. If there's something you want to see, we're going to do a little bit more dyeing. We're always on adventures, so we really, really are enjoying that. If you like us, give us a thumbs up.
That's our adventure. Until next time,
you take care.